Hello, hobbyist. Good day to all of you. By the way, this time I'm gonna teach you how to develop your guppy fish pectoral fins or producing Dumbo air or big airs guppy and the usage of inbreeding, line breeding, and outcrossing method for this topic. But before anything else, if you're new here, please consider subscribing so you won't miss out any of our videos. So let's get into the video. First, know your strain. Before you attempt to breed guppies or develop guppies on a certain traits that you want to produce, you need to understand first the characteristics of your choosing strain. The first step is to note all the characteristics of your stock. For instance, does the color have a uniform look or is it more intense in specific areas? What about fin shapes? Even colors. I'm talking about their pictorial fins. Find out what is your ideal traits should be. And never ever keep just one pair of breeders because when disease happens, no matter how careful you are, and you don't want to put those years of hard work in jeopardy by losing just two fish. Ideally, aim for two or three trials in separate tanks. Keep those records. Your breeding log should have the following information: identity, which is you need to give each breeding pair or trio an identity number. So your first pair is number 1, your second is number 2, and so on. This allows you to trace the lineage and any crosses that have been made. And sex, M or F, for male or female. Color or strain, for example, Dumbo air or yellow snake skin, just like that. And generation, start with P for parentage and followed by F1 and F2 and etc. Cross, are the fish being bred brother to sister or siblings, parents to daughter or son as backcross, or to a genetically related strain or outcross? Parents, what was the identity number of the parent fish? And DOB, date litter was dropped. This is useful to work out the age of fish for breeding and to track their progress for finage and color development, which varies according to strain. Notes: allow plenty of room for observations about when the fish started to sex out, ratio of males to females, growth rates, and etc. Always mark the tank with the ID number and the date that the letter was born. Masking tape is good as you can easily remove this and attach it to the fish new tank if you move it. And when developing pictorial fins like producing Dumbo type of guppies, actually 6 years ago I obtained this strain, the Platinum Red Mosaic, and they are not Dumbo type that time. And time passed by, I started to notice some inbreeding period shows Dumbo air, especially to male. And to make them produce more of Dumbo air, I used outcross method by pairing male and female from my other mosaic line with sim strain. If I'm not mistaken, months passed by, I start to notice again that some of them have big size pectoral fins and some of them have pointed pectoral fins, and not only on their fins but also to their caudal pattern, producing dragon patterns. So what I did was to cross them again. Then, to make the long story short, this came the Dumbo air, so I call them as butterfly or bird air ribbon. If you notice, their pectoral fins almost reaches their tails. And also this dragon pattern, then I like it, of course. And notes, if you develop ribbon type guppies, you have to expect that their pectoral fins will become way bigger and wider than non-ribbon guppies. So you have to watch their difference. To beginners about outcrossing, you have to understand this, that this refers to the mating of two unrelated guppies. While inbreeding reduces the variation of your offspring, and line breeding helps keep your gene pool intact, and outcrossing corrects or adds a gene to your strain. For example, you may want to get a bigger pectoral fins also known as big ears, or you want to develop their dorsal fin, improve the color or rectify the defects in their caudal fin, or you may even want to create a totally new strain, so you need to use this method. Having said that, outcrossing is best not attempted by a novice or a beginner if you get it wrong, because you could lose the strain traits altogether. With outcrossing, it's critical to ensure strains are compatible. Some color strain mix, others don't. For instance, as what I experienced, crossing albino koi with albino platinum white results in a very mixed up guppy, half black body. And as what I can see, they are not albino, not to say that their parents have the same albino traits. But still, you can develop this into another strains. What I'm trying to say here is that you really need to keep the original strains as pure as your backup. And moreover, outcrossing demands plenty of tank space and patience to carry out the required back process to end up with the results you want. You will need to use established strains whose genetics are stable, meaning that all of the spring look identical. Finally, try the cross both ways, female to outcross strain and male to outcross strain. You may not know whether the trait you want is X or Y chromosome link. And here, as what you can see, the albino red tuxedo white hair from Guppy Bagos farm, or the Santa Claus Dumbo Air by Mark Suazin. Actually, this came from HB White or Tuxedo in breed, because if you also keep HB White or Tuxedo White for a long time, you will notice white pectoral fins. And from that, you can develop them. Just try to pair with chromosome X or female from other line with potential pectoral fins. And as what I've said earlier, in order to come up with a good results, you need to keep records on them when doing the outcross. And if you notice, when too much inbreeding of this strain, or I'm talking about the HB white or the tuxedo white, their caudal fin sometimes produces red, blue, and yellow, and develop this as pastels or into HB yellow. And of course, I know you will understand me if you keep this strain for too long. Alright, the six chromosomes are referred to X and Y, and their combinations determines a person's sex. Typically, human females have two X chromosomes, while males possess an XY pairing. This XY sex determination system is found in most mammals as well as in some reptiles, even to fishes like guppies, and even to plants also. The X and Y chromosomes, also known as the sex chromosomes, determine the biological sex of an individual. Females inherit an X chromosome from the father for an XX genotype, while males inherit a Y chromosome from the father for an XY genotype. And you have to understand that mothers only possess an X chromosomes. Closely related species of fishes often have different sex chromosome systems. Such rapid turnover of sex chromosomes can occur by several mechanisms, including fusions between an existing sex chromosome and an autosome. These fusions can result in multiple sex chromosome systems, where a species has both an ancestral and a neo-sex chromosome. Although this type of multiple sex chromosome system has been found in many fishes, little is known about the mechanisms that select for the formation of neo-sex chromosomes. And if you don't know, guppies have 20 pairs of chromosomes, including one pair of sex chromosomes, the same number as humans. The genes responsible for male guppies ornamentations are Y chromosome link and are heritable. And let's go to additional questions, because one of our fellow hobbyists asked us of when to use inbreeding, line breeding, and outcrossing method. Actually, for me, I tolerate inbreeding method up to 4 generations, and after that, line breeding will occur for better results. And we already discussed the line breeding and outcrossing method from our previous videos. I only use outcross if I want to develop something like their caudal and dorsal size and their pattern, as what I've said earlier. And you have to be very careful when doing this method. You have to make sure you have the same strain as your backup to not to lose your current strain. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully this guide will help you on how to develop your guppy fish pectoral fins and how to do it properly. And if you have any comments, suggestions, and clarifications or for more video updates, you can visit our FB page at happytv.ph or just click the link below description. And of course, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to get updated on our next video like this one. Please be safe everyone. To God be the glory. Bye bye.